So hello friends, I mean I hope everybody is doing great during this quarantine period, and we all are following the basic guidelines given by the government about this corona issue to fight against it. So today this is my first live session which I'm doing here on YouTube. So today basically a lot of people have asked me to talk about post-processing, but when on Instagram live stories it was not possible for me to talk about post-processing and all. So I decided to make a video on YouTube live session where you can ask me questions, where we can talk about a lot of insights of post-processing workflow that I follow. So guys, let me adjust my cameras and all. So today I'll be going through the basic workflow of image post-production, right? So image post-production takes a lot of basic knowledge, what we call it general knowledge about post-production. So first of all, you need to be in a correct environment. Your computer, wherever it is set, you have to understand that it is not set up in a dark atmosphere or very bright atmosphere. There is no reflection coming on your screen and blah blah blah, a lot of other things, right? So I have recently been to Tanzania, and I was lucky enough to come back before this quarantine period, and luckily I'm back in India safe and with no infection and all. So guys, let's go to the images first. I'll pick up some of the random images first. I'll select a couple of images. They are all raw images which I clicked during my Tanzania trip, and I'll process them and I'll post them on my social media platforms on Instagram and Facebook. On Instagram it is visual_poetries, visual poetries. I mean, if you search visual_poetries, you'll get to know. I'll post those images there. So just for the for basics, let me take you to the main window. Okay, guys. Yeah. So this is the folder of my Tanzania trip, which I recently did. Here you can see there are a lot of images, elephants and crown cranes and wildebeest coming in there, and crown cranes flying, and crown crane having its time, and then fox, and again the elephants. So first of all, I just like to know that how do I pick up my my first images, right? See, we have to understand that part, okay? Because it is very important to select the correct image for post-processing. You cannot correct bad images. You cannot improve bad images. If you have not clicked it right way, if it is not the right set of image, probably you cannot enhance images. Always remember, you need to work only on the correct images. So guys, I'll just show you some of my images. So like if I have to talk about this elephant image, see, there are many images, but I would like to pick up an image where the ears are wide, ears are like this, it's wide open, because that makes him quite huge, see. Yeah. So I decided to have a vertical frame because I always like to have some beautiful landscape against the animal. I like to have some beautiful habitat around the animal. So this is one of the image, okay? So this is as clicked. If this image is not, if it is processed or something, you can find a small symbol here that it has been processed in DPP. So this is digital photo professional. This is how digital photo professional looks like, okay? So I'll go through a couple of images, and I know, because I was there, and when I clicked the images, I know that I got a shot that was looking directly into the camera, and probably here is the shot. Yeah, okay. So this is as clicked image, as you can see, okay. I'll just check whether the image itself has to be quite bright. Yeah, okay, this is bright and fine, and Sharpness is okay because the focus is on spot. And if I have to take you to the if you have to take the image info here, okay. See, so it was taken on 1st of March when I was there in Tanzania. The shutter speed was 1/640. The aperture was quite open because I was shooting this with 100, 400 and not with 600mm lens. Sorry, this was shot with 600mm lens, of course, and it was shot on spot metering because see, the elephant is quite a dark animal. I mean, the colors are not very vibrant. The brightness is not there in its color. So I decided to shoot. I generally shoot on spot metering. Here you can see the spot metering. But if I shoot elephant having a spot metering on the center, on its head, probably I'll end up having an overexposed image because camera would understand there's no light and I'll get overexposed image. So here the exposure I have kept is -1.1/3. So it is like -1.33. Okay, ISO speed was 1000 because it was quite overcast weather was there, a lot of clouds were there. So and I had at least 600 plus shutter speed. So whenever I'm using 600mm focal length, I have a tendency, if the light is good enough, I have a full frame camera and I have a liberty to shoot with higher ISO speed. I make sure that my ISO in such a way that I have at least a shutter speed which is minimum of the focal length. Okay, so here it is 600mm lens f4 ISUSM with 1.4x teleconverter. So focal length was 840mm here. So focal length was 840mm. We were shooting from so probably I'll pick up this image. Okay, and here we go with the processing, guys. Okay, so here we are going with the processing thing. Okay, so first of all I'll try to correct my basic exposure and white balance and everything in Digital Photo Professional itself. So in this image, this is my image. I put a fit to window. Okay, but I'll process it at when it is 50% in zoom. Then with Control T, I have my tool palette in Digital Photo Professional. So here is the tool palette. So here you can see this is the tool palette. So very first step is to correct my exposure. But if I look at my exposure, it is quite fine. The greens which are there are quite nicely, taken care. I'm only worried about the elephant here. So what I'll do is, I'll not touch the exposure here. Okay, I'll only check my white balance because I shot in color temperatures. So I shot at 5000 ISO, but I would like to have a little warmer tones. So I'll put it at, see, the greens are more brilliant now here, and I like little warm tones here. And here you can see during the shot I have decreased the contrast, I have decreased the color tone here. But as the elephant is, this is what the shadow portion is. These are all shadow part. Okay, these are all shadow parts. So I'll open up the shadow so that, okay, yeah, you can see that expression has popped out of the window. Okay, so +2, and I'll just push the highlight by -1. So this is nothing but basically decreasing the contrast. Okay, now color tone looks fine to me, and I'll increase the saturation by +1. Okay, so here is the image you can see. Okay, now if you'll see here, okay, so this was my image here, and so it's taking a little time. Okay, so here is the image and before and after layouts, split horizontally, preview, sorry, after and split vertically. Yeah. So here you can see, guys, what actual image was and how it looks like now. So on the left side was how I clicked it, and on the right hand side how it is color corrected. So I generally make all my color correction in DPP. So this is the most basic color correction that I do in DPP. I generally do not touch contrast too much, and I like to have low contrast images. So I always make sure that in my camera setting itself the contrast is little less. So I set in my camera -1. Exposure is quite okay in this. Okay. See, if it would be 0, it is like this, but I like low contrast images. Okay, so this is on the left hand side. On this side, this is how I shot the image, and this is how I color corrected the images. Okay, then if we go into the lens correction, see, generally when I'm using 600 millimeter lens, and 600 millimeter lens has the peripheral illumination correction and sort of things, which is now I don't think so that it needs to be corrected here. So I have no correction is here. I'm not cropping my images in DPP. Okay, I generally see the illumination, the noise which comes there, luminance noise and chrominance noise. So I'll reduce it, but I guess the settings I have made in my camera works fine for this image. See, okay. It has a huge impact on your grains, guys. Okay. So this is at 100%. See, so I have no issue with what my camera setting is. Okay. So I have reduced little bit of luminance and chrominance noise as required. So now you can see it is a little sharper. Okay, but see, this pink dot is what unexposed pixel in the camera. Okay, and this is how my image looks like. This is what my final correction would look like. Okay, so after all this settlements which I have made in DPP, I convert my image, file, convert and save. It's taking a little more time. So I convert this image into TIFF. I always have that. I make sure that whenever I convert my image, I convert them into TIFF. So if at all, if somebody is asking me for the images, I have ready high resolution images with me. So here I have a folder for Tanzania in my desktop. So I'll now take it there. Okay. So this is the first image that we picked up. It has to, when you convert your images into TIFF, you have to make sure that it is a 350 DPI. DPI is not changed. You're not manipulating any pixels out there while converting. So you have to be little careful about it. Okay. Yeah. So this is the image that I see. Now you can see this symbol here that I have made certain corrections in the image. See, all these images are raw, and this image has certain corrections. So now the best part about DPP is I can paste this correction into all other images. So I'll right click this, I'll say copy receipt. Okay, I'll copy receipt, and now I'll select all the elephant images. Okay, from here to here, except this image. I'll right click it and I'll say paste receipt. Okay, so now you can see that all other images have these settings done in that. So now whatever image I pick up, it will have the same setup. And here also you can see, if you see preview here, okay, arrange, split vertically. Okay, so now I just copy paste it, and all my settings are pasted on every other images. Okay, so guys, this is how I work in DPP, because DPP gives me freedom to correct my images at once, and I don't have to worry much about color correction for every single images. So here, after getting after having this image here, okay guys, I'll go to my folder. Okay, the folder I have. So I have very specific method of saving my images. So I have a work folder. In work folder I have visual poetries where I save all my wildlife images, and then post processing. See, processing folder, and in processing folder I have got Africa here, and here is the JPEG file. I suppose actually I forgot to save it in JPEG, but this is high resolution JPEG file. So now I'll open this file into Photoshop. Okay, so here is the image that I picked up. So first and foremost, what I'll do, I'll first see whether there is any dust marks. See, you can find here. You can say this is the dust marks. These are on the sensor. Because of the sensor, it comes there. So I'll just get rid of it with a clone tool. This is a clone tool. So by just pressing S, the clone tool will be active. You paste this portion on this. It is fine. It is fine. Okay. If any sensor dust marks are there, you can remove it. See, removing sensor dust mark is nothing wrong. Okay, sensor dust mark. If you are removing sensor dust mark, everything is fine. That is ethical. You cannot remove the element itself, but sensor dust you can always correct. Okay, guys. So they are all sensor dust which I had in my camera, because I shoot a lot in the field, and while changing my lenses and all, we have this dusting issue on the sensor. So now after removing those sensor dust, the spots which comes in because of the sensor dust, I'll crop my image. Okay, so that is very simple. You press C on your keyboard, okay, or just go into the image, and then I don't know from where I get this crop tool. Okay, so I know most of these shortcuts, so I'll press C. My crop tool is here. So my aspect ratio that most of the images that we click is 12:8, but here it is 8:12, but here is 12:, just flipping them. I've got a vertical. I just have to see whether my horizon is right, but here is the right horizon. Okay, this is a symmetric image, so I'll make sure that my symmetry is not broken, because I would like to have symmetry in my images. So here is the cropping factor I've added here, and this is my final. See, I'm just following the basic rule of 1/3, because that's how I clicked it and that's how I liked it. So this is now the image, high resolution image with basic color correction. Now pressing Command J, I'll have another layer here, the same layer you can see here. Okay, so I have the same layer here. By just pressing Command J, you will have another layer. Now by pressing Shift Command A, okay, Shift Command A, you will get Photoshop RAW or RAW image processor, whatever you want to call. But you can go here from filter, and you can go from camera raw filter. Okay, this is camera raw filter. By just pressing Shift Command A, you can get it, or just go to the filter, and camera raw filter is there, and here it is. So now you can here tweak a little bit. So I'll first work upon the elephant here. Okay, I'm not bothered about what is happening to grass, what is happening to backdrop, what all. I'm not bothered. I just need to work upon the elephant. So I'll open. Elephant is a very darker part of it. So I will open up the shadows a bit. Now you can see I've opened up the shadows, but because of the shadows, elephant image looks a little plain. So I need to add some contrast into the. But this contrast is the overall contrast. So I would like to have, elephant is all about textures and also I'll put some textures and clarity. See. Okay, so after adding some clarity, quite fine with whatever the vibrancy I have. I don't need to touch much into vibrancy because I'm only concerned about the elephant, and here I press OK. Okay guys, so now you can see the change in the elephant. It was like this, now it is like this. Okay, and in this process my grass and everything is fine. So this is how I corrected the basics. But here I would like to have some beautiful greens on the grass around the elephant. So from here, from this symbol, I'll pick up curves, okay, and I'll adjust the grass. Let's see, this is little way much. Okay, so the contrast. Now I'm only concerned about the contrast on the grass. So after having this layer of curves here, just press Command I. So this effect of the layer will be vanished, and this is we call it is already clipping mask. Okay, and here by pressing X and Y you can change these colors. If you can see my cursor here, X and Y. So this clipping mask layer is black, so here we'll paint with white. We'll take a brush tool B, right click and see the hardness is very less and size is okay. Size we can change with pressing this this bracket button, and we'll paste whites here. See, can you see some brilliant changes happening in the green? Green is coming out very nicely, right guys? So you can see here what you are painting with white, but make sure that you paint with low opacity. Opacity is 50 and flow is also 50. We don't want a very heavy thing on there. Okay, see, always remember that we should not go beyond the natural limit. I mean, your image should not look very unnatural once you process them. So here is I'm done with basic color correction, but I still find that my elephant seems very dark in the image. I just need to open an elephant a little bit. So I'll again pick up from here. I'll again pick up curves from here. I'll select with the symbol of hand. I'll select these point and I'll just open the, okay, here I've opened the elephant like this, a little bit of contrast into it. Okay, I again now I'll invert this white layer into black by pressing Command I. Okay, now again I'll take brush tool B and I'll paint with white on this. Okay guys, okay, I've just opened this area a bit here. Now working upon the shadows. So you have to do it so gradually. Now you can see the effect. Okay, this was the image before we applied this curve tool on elephant skin, and this is after. And I guess my color correction is done. Probably a lot of time I have a tendency, and I can flatten my layers here. So Shift Command E will flatten all the layers, and I'll just get rid of this unexposed pixels. So I'll pick up my S tool, which is cloning tool. I'll take a little small circle and I'll just get rid of it. Okay, see this kind of if you're removing your the dust particles, the spots you get because of the dust particles on the sensor, if you're getting rid of this unexposed pixel, that is all ethical and that is all acceptable, and there's no problem in doing it. Unethical is something if you're adding something, if there was a bird flying over the elephant or there were some other things in behind which is naturally there, and you're removing it, or you're adding something else, like somebody's adding a bird sitting on an elephant, or somebody is like adding some flying birds over the elephant, or somebody's trying to remove those birds which are already there. So touching that natural part of that is not right. Okay, so this is going to be my high resolution images. So I'm saving it. Okay, now I'll have this high resolution image as my main file. Okay, this is my main file. Sorry guys, there's so much going on in my computer, so I mean I'm just taking so much time. So now I'll just copy and paste this one, and this copy I'll now change my pixels into this low resolution images. So I've copied the same file. Now what do I share on internet? So with option command I, you get into image sizing, okay, and you can also get into image sizing from image, go into the image size. Okay, now here generally all our computer shows you 72 pixels, so it's changed to 72 pixels, and height of the image, I generally keep the longer side at 1600 pixel. Okay, because nowadays we all have this high resolution monitors, and mobiles have a lot many pixels, so I keep it at 1600 pixel. And now I'll apply and I'll work on sharpness and noise reduction. See, as you don't see noise reduction here, but there are some noise here. Okay, you can see chromatic and chromatic aberration here. Okay, so now all I have to do is I just need to apply sharpness and get rid of the noise. So first I'll make another layer with command J. So here I have this layer. Okay, now I'll with shift alt A, I'll go into the camera raw filter. Here is camera raw filter. Okay, I'll see my image at 100% thing. Okay, now I'll go into the sharpness. I will noise reduction, so I'll reduce noise reduction here and apply some very less sharpness. Guys, this is probably I'm done with my sharpness thing. Okay, so now if you say you have less amount of noise, if you still find it, you can just push it. Okay, but make sure when you're applying this noise reduction tool and sharpness tool, you have to be very careful that you don't get to see these sharp lines here. Okay guys, this is the sharp line which is there, which I don't like to see in my images, because that makes my images over sharper. So as of now I'm not working on that, so my sharpness process is done. And if I sometimes like to have a little bit of peripheral illuminance that we call, okay, so here I am applying peripheral illuminance which we call V-net. Okay, so I'm just a bit it should be so less that viewers will not even be able to understand whether it is applied or not. So just be very, very light and very easy when applying V-net. Okay, so this is a thing. Now the point is I have an issue with this line of over sharpening, which I don't want in my images. So for all those work, all I have is I have my bamboo Wacom here. So this is the Wacom. Okay, so and this is the pen through which I can work to get rid of my extra sharpness which is there in the image. Okay, so I will just zoom my image. Okay, I'm just zooming my image. I'm taking S tool with a little bit of this thing. Okay, I'll make it I'll make it as small as possible. Okay, and I'll just do this. I'll just remove. Okay, so this is the great help from this Wacom and the pen that we have. It becomes so easy to do all these things. Okay, we don't need to do it with all the grass and everything, but it is okay if you are doing it with the elephant. See, I'm just going a little fast as I have to show you the whole process. I cannot take much time in that. Okay, here also we have the same kind of line, so and a lot of people find it very tedious, but guys, it is sometimes very important to do all these things so your images can be nearly to perfect, and all you have to remember is one thing, that it should not look unnatural. It should not look unnatural in any case. So this sharpness thing only you have to touch when you have resized your images, not before that. Okay, you don't need to touch the sharpness before resizing your images. Okay, so I'm just done with. Okay, so now it won't look over sharpened, it looks perfectly sharpened. All I need to do is this. Okay, and now I'll put my watermark here. See, make sure guys that whenever you're putting your watermark should not be, you know, so much, I mean, visible in your images, so it overtakes the visuals offered by the nature. So be easy when applying, and just make sure it has a correct opacity so it does not distract the viewers. And I flatten the layer, and here is my image ready to be posted on Instagram or Facebook or wherever I want to post it. Right? So that's all. I mean, just these image, and I'm quite happy. I mean, it's quite content when I process my images. Just make sure that your images has to look as natural as possible, like this. Okay, your images should not look unnatural by any means. Should not look unnatural by any means. Just remember this thing, guys. It is very important. Not a lot of people are taking care of it. It should look as natural. Now again, I'm working with my mouse. I'm done with my background. Okay, so now we'll pick up another image probably. Okay, I've been receiving a lot of comments also here in this. Probably I'll pick your comments very soon. I'll be going with another image to be processed. We'll pick up some another image. Okay, so here you can see the images of, these are all again raw images which you had seen. So this is there's a lot of people liked my zebra images, particularly this baby zebra. Okay, so first thing that we have to understand is we have to click a good image. I mean, say this is the image of zebra. The exposure and everything has to be good as it is. I mean, you cannot enhance bad work. Not at all, not possible. I mean, you have to click a good image to enhance it. If you don't click a good image, you cannot enhance it. So now let us pick up another image. Probably let's pick up a lion image, because everybody would love to see the lion images. See, we had a good sighting of lions there throughout. Almost every day we saw the lion. So let us pick up one of these images. Okay. What do you say? Okay, now that the lion is sleeping here. I always like to have an image with a lot of habitat around the image. So probably I'll pick some of these images rather than any other. So I guess I would go with this image. Yeah. Okay, I'll just pick up an image where its eyes are wide open. That's in the lion. Yeah, okay, this is the image where the lion is not sleeping. I mean, anyway, she was also quarantined because of the bugs out there. Okay. So what do you think? I'll just say whether I'll just try to see whether I'll go for vertical image or horizontal image. See, horizontal image, probably I'll pick up one of these images because it has got nice backdrop of this branches going over. But I guess I'll pick up vertical image, because vertical image looks okay, where you can see that it was sitting on a height and not sitting somewhere else. So okay, let's go with this image because it has so much things to correct, I guess. So if I have to process this image, okay, I'll by Command T, I have my tool palette here, and I'll work on this. So now here, if you say this is my basic camera setting, which I did in the field, I had my contrast as -4. Because in this image, see, all these settings you have to do it in the field itself. You do not need to be dependent on correcting things while coming back to the place, because I often keep saying this, that guys, we have to remember one thing, that if you have a correct set of white balance, correct exposure, everything set in the field, nothing like that, Because how would you remember what was the color of the animal, what was the ambient light, what was the white balance, what was the sunlight coming, how it was falling on the animal, how it was reacting with other habitat elements. So it is not possible to remember all those things if you have a tendency कि okay घर पे जाके देख लेंगे, okay we'll do it later on when we'll be doing post processing. But I have corrected my, I work with Kelvin temperature. So here you can see that it is 5200, and if you have to see info here, okay, this is my info of the image. Okay, I'll put it here. So you can see that this image is taken with 100, 400. ISO was 1000. Exposure was -2/3. 1/800 was my shutter speed, and aperture value was 5. So these are all my all the settings that I shot there. Now here you have to see that I have changed my settings in the field itself. See, I have changed my contrast to -4 in the field itself. So I don't need to worry about my contrast. Just imagine contrast, if the contrast would have been 0, the image would have looked like this. No, I don't want this heavy contrast image. So this is the -4 contrast I set in the field itself. I had saturation at +1 and color tone at -1. So I did my color correction in the camera, in the field, when I was watching this beautiful animal sitting on a tree. Correct. So see, when this beautiful animal is there, she's not going to run away from the tree immediately, right? So you have all the time in the world, it's not an action which is happening in front of you that you're going to miss something. She's going to be there. She's going to be there full day. She's not going to, she's not going to run away immediately. She's not going to fly like a bird. So do not be very hasty in taking decisions when you're in the field. Correct. Be easy. Be easy with what you're seeing. Have enough time. Don't get frustrated. Don't look here and there. Oh my God, you're going to miss the chance. Okay, what is going to happen to my vehicle? How am I supposed to take? Be calm and composed. Make all the possible settings and make the images. Okay, there's nothing like that. So here, what I'll do is I can see here a little bit shadow. Although the contrast is -4, it means the camera had tried to open the shadows, but I feel that this is a dark patch, so I'll open a shadow here a bit. Okay. Or probably +3. Yeah. So now I have opened up the shadows. So I have basically further reduced the contrast. We generally do not have a tendency to reduce the contrast, but we have a tendency to increase the contrast beyond limits. So here, and I'm just, and you can see here all these highlights coming in here. So I'll just cut the highlights. But while cutting the highlights, I have all this unwanted camera lens effect in that, so I'll not cut down my highlights. I'll just keep it as it is, so that that artifact doesn't come in my lens, which is there because of the lens blur. So here I'm done with basic color correction in the DPP, Digital Photo Professional. Okay, you can download DPP from from the Canon's original site, and you can put your serial number into it. If you don't have a serial number, go on the Google, find a serial number from any camera, put it inside the software, and it is just there ready for use. So now I'll convert this into a TIFF file. I forgot to convert my last. So from here I'll convert and save. I'll make sure that it is 8-bit TIFF file. I'll again take it to the folder Africa that I have here in my computer, and this image is getting converted. Okay. Okay, it is getting converted here, and it will go to the TIFF file, will be there in the folder. Okay guys, and also you have to remember that all we have to do is, if this is the image that we corrected, just right click, copy receipt. Okay, select all the images you have been seeing here. Okay, pick up image, no matter. Okay, here is the setup. Okay, so this is a setting I have from here till all the images all the way till here, except the image that we already color corrected. Okay, deselect that image. paste. See, now all your images are color corrected. Okay, I just rotated because of the receipt. Let's see, this image is almost ready to use now. I have nothing to do with this. I have nothing to do with this. Images are already color corrected. So this is how I generally do my basic color correction in DPP. Now I'll close DPP here. I'm just saying no to all as of now. You have to do yes to all, because then only these settings will be saved. I'm just trying to save my time because it will take a lot of time to save these images. Now I'll open this TIFF file with Photoshop. Okay, I'll probably follow the same things. Okay, first of all, I'll try to see if there is any sensor dust. But see, generally, if there's so much of dust and all, there is no sensor dust visible in this kind of cluttered backgrounds and all. Okay, so here I don't need to do much in this. So I'll make another layer by pressing Command J. See, all these short keys that I am telling you is because of it's Mac. If you're working on Windows, you have to just be careful. Okay, so here I'll first need to have some light on the face. So I'll just take curves here. Okay, I'm only worried about the face, and here I go. Okay, you can merge it down. So now a little contrast and everything looks fine. Now I'll go into the camera raw filter. Shift Command A is the camera raw filter. Okay, now I'll just try to get rid of the whites here, little bit of whites. I'll add some clarity to it. See, in this kind of images, when this is the image which seeks low contrast, okay, and when you're working on low contrast, don't push your dehaze or textures or clarity up to limit. Maximum up to +5, 6 or 10. 10 is the upper limit. You do not need to push up to 10. So I'll push it up to 5. I generally play with numbers. Okay, I just don't do it randomly. Okay, and I guess my image is almost there. I don't need to change much. Okay. Okay, now only one thing that I need some more light on the face. I'll again go into the curves. Okay, I'll invert that clipping mask. I'll take brush tool with pressing B and I'll paint it with white. Okay, I know that you won't even understand that what change is happening there. There are a lot of change, lot of things changing here in this part of the lioness. See, you will be able to see it. It was like this, now it is like this. Quite okay and quite fine to go with this. Now I have some issues with this bright side of the frame because it is taking away all my attention from the lioness. So I'll again put the curves here. I'll reduce a bit this brightness. I'll reduce a bit. Okay, I'll again invert this brightness. I'll take brush tool. I'll make it big. Okay, I'll show you what effect it has on this. This kind of image would also look good in black and white when this kind of cluttered backgrounds are there. Okay. Now I have only one issue, is this blue colors. If you can see here, this blue color is the issue. So I'll go with hue and saturation here. I'll pick up these blues. I'll select those blues. See here, it has selected blue, and I'll reduce that. Okay, guys. So now you can see that those blue tones which was coming in the image, that was the cast in because of the lens blur, it is gone. See, it was like this. You can see here. Okay, you see this part. Just see, this layer is off. Looks like this, and this layer is on. It looks like this. So now we have all the attention, everything fine on the lioness, and I'll save this image as my original image. Because I'll save my TIFF file with all my layers. If you see here, I'll save my TIFF file with all the layers here. I'm not removing all the layers. Okay, once it will be saved, I'll save as a JPEG file which will be low resolution files. I'll pick JPEG, save. Okay, so now I have high resolution TIFF file here, and this is going to be my low resolution, which I'll be uploading. Okay, so now again I have to work on sharpness and a little bit of noise, but I don't see much noise in this image, so I won't touch that part. So first of all, I resize my image. So Option Command I will open up resize thing. Pixel resolution has to be 72. If it's vertical image, so longer side is height, and if longer side is a height, I'll put it 1600 pixel here. Okay, I'll make another layer by pressing Command J, which is there. I'll go into the Shift Command A, and I'll add a sharpness a bit. Add a sharpness here, and little bit of noise reduction is there. Okay, I have to make sure the image is at 100%, so it does not look over sharpened at all. Okay, so this is fine. See, a lot of times it happens that you don't need to apply sharpness in the whole of the frame. You need sharpness only in this part of the frame. In that case, you can make this sharp. See, this was less sharp, now this is sharpened. So this is a sharpness layer basically. So you can convert it into a clipping mask. See, this layer is converted into a clipping mask. Now again, you can reverse it by pressing Command I. So it will be altered. Go into the brush tool B. Okay, and paint it with white. So sharpness effect will be only visible on the animal and around the subjects, and not on the whole frame. Okay, so you can see the sharpness effect is only in this region. Okay guys, so now my image is now, by pressing Shift Command E, my layer is done. I'll put my watermark there. Okay, I'll have my watermark there. Okay, this is white. I have to put the watermark in a white region, so I'll pick a black watermark here. Take this one. Again, remember, watermark has to be small, little less in opacity. By pressing Shift Command E, my image is ready to upload. I'm sorted with 2 of my images today here. Okay guys, so one is this and another was this. So these are the 2 images that I have processed in front of you, like this and this. Okay, so if you have any questions or something like that, we'll take this. By the way, if you want to see these images, you can go to my Instagram profile, which is visual_poetries, or go to my Facebook page, which is Visual Poetries by Saurabh Desai, or go to my Facebook profile, which is Saurabh Desai, and you will be able to see both these images posted there just in 10 minutes after I finish my video. So you can see this out there. So guys, I know that there are a lot of questions and you need to okay, there Mr. Homyar is saying that try it black and white. Of course, I'll work on my black and white images as well, as soon as I'll go further in my stories and everything, right? So it was a great time sharing all that I have with you guys, and I'm quite fortunate that you guys are here to listen to me, because nowadays every artist are, you know, lacking in when it comes to viewers. So thank you for listening me. I hope this session would help you to process your images. But there are few take homes that I need to discuss. Is like, guys, always remember that your nature images has to look like nature. When the wildlife is a part of nature, do not over process your images. Do not go beyond the natural limit. And just be very easy when applying the tools. You do not need to apply some crazy tools on your nature photography. We are not processing fashion. We are not working on fashion images. So be very easy when you are working on your nature images. So that's all for the day. I hope that you would like the video. If you have any questions or something, I'll post this video on my channel. And if you have any questions on this part, you put your questions in the comment section, and probably, or if you want to make another video of some different thing, I'll try to make that video. And I'll keep doing these live sessions on YouTube even after the quarantine period is done. I'll make sure that I'll try to share whatever I know about photography, about post-processing, about field knowledge, about the knowledge of wildlife. Whatever I can do, I'll try to share it. So thank you guys. I hope everybody have enjoyed, and probably I'm trying my level best to pass my quarantine period, and I hope everybody is trying the same. So see you guys with a couple of more live sessions in near future. Have a great day. Follow all the guidelines given by the government to be safe during this quarantine period to fight against this coronavirus. Have a great day. Bye for now.